Good afternoon, everyone. We are now in the 5th week of our Lenten journey. So, how are your Lenten sacrifices going? Okay, then. I will have you know, at the 4 p.m. Mass yesterday, someone yelled out, "Excellent." But apparently that's not you. That's okay, because either way, right now, we are in the home stretch. And it's like when we used to play games as kids. The last point wins, so the next point wins. So, with the home stretch now, whether things have gone good or bad, all that matters now is that we finish strong. And you can do it. Today's gospel began with a group of Greeks who approached Philip and said to him, "Sir, we would like to see Jesus." The Greek verb to see, which is used here, doesn't just refer to eyesight, but also includes the idea of perceiving and knowing and understanding. Like when someone grasps an idea and says, "I see." These Gentiles who came to worship at the Passover feast were looking for more than just an autograph or a backstage pass to catch a glimpse of Jesus. Rather, they wanted to affirm and to accept him as Messiah. For us, Lent is the perfect time to strive to see Jesus more deeply and to accept him as the Messiah of your life. The Greeks went to Philip because Philip had a Greek name and probably because he understood some Greek. Then, if we saw what happened, it was kind of an interesting. Philip then went to Andrew, and then together they went to Jesus. It's kind of like a chain reaction of evangelization. And that's how new disciples are made. You know, for you, someone might see something in you, something that captures their attention. Maybe there's something about your witness which is especially credible, and then whether you mean to or not, somehow you communicate your faith to them in a way that they understand. And then, together, you go to Jesus. As they went to Jesus in the gospel, Jesus tells them the secret to a better life. Jesus says, "Amen, amen." And when Jesus says the amen twice, he's really trying to get our attention. "Amen, amen, I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains just a grain of wheat. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. If the grain remains on the stalk, it'll never produce anything. Only when the grain is plucked from the stalk and buried in the ground does it have the potential to bear fruit of its own." On one level, this is Jesus talking about his death on the cross, which leads to his resurrection and all the graces that he won for us. But on another level, Jesus is talking about all the deaths that we encounter throughout our lives. They're the deaths that we don't ask for, like the loss of a loved one, or the end of a relationship, or a dream that is dashed, or a decline in health. At other times, though, we choose the deaths that give us life. Like when you marry and you commit yourself to your spouse. You have to let go of parts of your old life so that you can begin a new shared life. Or when you have kids, you have to sacrifice so much of your time, maybe your bank account or your career, for something bigger and better so that you can have a strong family life. There are other examples of this. We could go on and on. But in all of these deaths and disappointments, wanted or unwanted, dying to old ways represents the opportunity for renewal. It's like these times in Lent where we say no to ourselves. These no's, these deaths to ourselves, they prepare us to say a bigger yes. In fact, our Lenten disciplines of prayer, fasting and almsgiving, help us to let go of the things that we cling to that keep us from seeing the fullness of life. One way we can think about this is through the lens of selfishness, because in one way or another, selfishness is that refusal to die to yourself, that refusal to see beyond yourself. Selfishness is a barrier to living the better life that Jesus wants for you. But whatever it costs to remove this barrier, it's worth it. Because Jesus always gives us so much more than we could ever imagine, both in this life as well as in the life to come. And as we see Jesus more clearly, he calls us to imitate what he did. Pope Francis recently said, "Christian charity is not simple philanthropy, but looking at others through the eyes of Jesus himself and seeing Jesus in the face of the poor." Almsgiving is essential to our growth and discipleship. Especially during Lent, almsgiving has the ability to change the way we see God, the way we see others, and the way we see ourselves. Almsgiving, that is, giving to the poor, takes many forms, but always it is a response. It is a response to the love of God, which is manifested so perfectly on the cross when Jesus sacrificed himself for us. An example of generosity that allows us to grow spiritually. And it reminds us that we are members of his body, called to live in communion with one another. As a parish, this Lent we are focusing our almsgiving on 3 mission partners. First, there are the societies of St. Vincent de Paul in Sudbury and Maynard. They work with our most vulnerable and disadvantaged neighbors here in our own community. They work with people that we might know. And they call the people they work with friends. I just want to share one story of their work with you to kind of paint the picture of how important it is. And this story took place from this past summer. There was a single mother of 3 young children who tested positive for COVID right as she was beginning a new job. And although she didn't lose her job, she was without wages for 4 weeks. And the St. Vincent de Paul Society walked with her at this critical moment. Through their assistance and their encouragement, they were able to help her financially with unpaid rent, with overdue utility bills, and meals for her and her 3 children. A little further from Sudbury and Maynard is the Holy Family Summer Camp in Dorchester. Through it, disadvantaged kids in the inner city of Boston are given the opportunity for an enriching experience in a safe and supportive environment. And I know many people here have helped with that through the years. While charity starts at home, we have to look beyond our doorstep to the ends of the earth. You might remember Father Anasay, who was a missionary from Africa who served here 2 summers ago. Presently, he's serving in a remote village in Tanzania on the island of Ukara, which is in the middle of Lake Victoria, which is the biggest lake in Africa. Where he's serving now, there are many urgent needs, but the most critical right now is the need for clean water. Their current system, which catches rainwater, is no longer functional. And so people have to use river water for everything that they need. And drinking from the river comes with a whole host of problems. You can learn more about Father Anise's mission by watching a video produced by Kyle Keelan, who's one of our high school students here. You can find it on the giving page of our website at theascensionparish.com/give. It's worth a watch. In your almsgiving this Lent, I ask you to give to our Lenten mission drive. All the money that we collect will be distributed to our mission partners based on need. And the need is real. And you can make a difference. Because what might be a little for you can have a tremendous impact in the life of someone else. When you die to yourself, you open your heart to see God more clearly and to see others. And you are more able to see and to participate in Jesus' redemptive work. As St. Teresa of Avila said, Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which he looks with compassion on the world.